What's good, everybody? It's your girlfriend Jamila here, and today I'm going to be learning Bhutan metas in Geoguessr. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Alright, so I don't know any region guessing metas in Bhutan yet. I think a lot of this is going to be me guessing near probably the capital to start. Obviously we can see it's very foggy and cloudy, but that's kind of like a lot of Bhutan in general. The red license plate's indicative of Bhutan. But yeah, I don't know much about region guessing in the country, so I'm going to just go slightly outside the capital because obviously we're not in like a big city right now, and we'll see how far we are. Okay, so we were very far. We were near a town called Gedu, so the most notable place you can find fog is around Gedu, which seems to be like in the southwest of the country. Okay, I think that this is going to be a really interesting video because I've never learned region guessing Bhutan before, but Bhutan's such a recognizable country that if you can region guess in Bhutan, I feel like that can really come in handy like one day in a duel. And it's something that I'm interested in learning. So southwest Gedu with a fog. Okay. And if you're wondering why I didn't get so many points in that last round, it's because instead of like, a normal like duel or map where maybe like the whole world is like possible for you to guess, really you can only guess within the Bhutan borders here. So getting even like a couple kilometers away can be like a huge difference in the terms of points. All right, so we're on this mountain, not super foggy, kind of like tan-ish brown dirt. We see a little bit of the back of a car. There's like a white and then there's like a red stripe in the middle. A little bit of like a rocky cliff, some tall pines. So I don't think it's gonna be in the same like southwest area. Do I ever want to go like in the middle? Maybe to be a little bit further away. Okay, so these were pines. So in the north, you're gonna see pines. You can see a lot of them all over the mountains. Okay, so we were in the north, but we were a little bit more like in the middle, closer to like Thimphu. But we should have been a little bit more eastern. Okay. Okay. I feel like this is a location, and I could scan for it, but I want to like learn what the meta is. Before like I scan for just like a city name, so that way like if I'm in a duel and I'm like playing NPC for example and I spawn this one, I don't see the sign that I could like guess where I am. So we actually see quite a decent amount of buildings here, so I think we're in a fairly big city. Are we ever in the capital? I don't think this feels like a capital city, or does it? I'll just go here to start, and then we'll see where we are and learn. Okay, we were a lot further south in a town called Gellifu, which I think is what we saw in the sign. So if you find yourself in a noticeably flat location, you might just be in the south. In fact, that'll almost certainly be where you are. Coverage here is limited to the towns of Phuntsholing, Sarpong, Gellifu, and Samdrup Jangkar. Okay. Okay, this location is interesting. We kind of on like a gravelly path. I see like water here in the front, like the reflection of the trees. I see big mountain with smoke coming off of it in the back. This is definitely a meta we haven't learned yet. I'm gonna go someplace where I haven't guessed yet, like a little bit south here. Okay, not bad. So that was just outside of the city. I think we were just in the previous round, Gellifu. But this was a Gellifu pebbled road. So if you find yourself in flat terrain on a pebbled road, you're in Gellifu, not the city center though. Okay, yeah, last time we were definitely in the city center. Okay, this is definitely not flat. This is definitely very mountainous. We have a lot of trees without like their leaves or needles or whatever. Very tardalk. Very tall and dark trees. We have this little like stone like wall thing here, which I feel like always indicates to me we're Bhutan, but obviously Bhutan only map. So not the most distinguishable meta here, I think. I think it's gonna be a tree meta if I had to guess. Where do I feel like it is? I'm gonna go here. Okay. So I think the trees that we saw were called Sikkim fir or Abies densa, so it can be found in quite a few places, but a high concentration of them should lean you towards Frumzengla National Park, more specifically northwest of Sangor. Okay. So those pines I think that I saw were kind of probably what it's talking about here, right? Can we see it in a different picture? Okay, yeah. This is definitely what I saw and I thought would be the meta. So there's kind of the tall pines around this national park here. Okay. All right. We're going to keep going and keep learning. Okay, this is very foggy. And if we remember from the last round, I do believe most of the fog was like southwest. I don't know if we had this exact location, but it makes me want to go near Gedu because I think that's where the fog was. No, okay. We were a little bit more eastern, so if you see lots of fog, you're not on the road to Thimphu. You're likely not too far south of Galachugon. Okay. I think something I need to recognize then from like reading this meta is recognizing I'm on the road to Thimphu, but I don't know how to do that yet, so hopefully we'll learn that in this video. SL1. Okay. I feel like this mile marker is gonna be the meta. We have a lot of pines here. I don't see the pines that we learned earlier in the round though, like the ones that are maybe more like taller with like the leaves or needles at the top. It's a little bit foggy. I think that this is gonna be the meta though. SL1. I don't know if that stands for maybe like a city name or stands for direction. Do I see any big cities with SL in them? Not off a first glance. I'm gonna go here, like in between these national parks, and we'll see where we are. Okay, we were more western, so SL1 Waystone. So when encountering an SL1 Waystone, it should put you on the SL1, which is kind of like, it looks like this like ring of roads, which is southwest of Thimphu. Okay. All right, this seems like a big city. This may be Thimphu. I feel like I've probably like had this location in a duel. I don't see any city names there, but yeah, these are like very big buildings. There's a lot of them I can see down the road. I'm gonna go in downtown Thimphu for now. And then we'll see where we are and what the meta was. Okay, we weren't in Thimphu, but this was a car meta hook. So in and around the town of Ha, you can see a hook on the car. It will be very blurred with only the top being visible. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, so this is showing like the map of Bhutan, like all these and what the back of the car looks like. Okay. A small hook though around the town of Ha. Okay, so I think it's just like a small black line here. And then Ha is a town all the way in the west. Okay. Okay, would I describe this as very flat? I don't think so. Kind of a gravelly road. I don't see the hook. What is the meta here? Maybe the Transformers? I mean, maybe the fog. Like, there's definitely fog rolling off the mountains, so I'm gonna guess more southern. And we'll see where we are. Okay, this was the best score we've had so far, TBH. So I guess this was flat terrain. Like, it didn't seem very flat, I guess, because we were surrounded by mountains. So maybe I should be looking at more, like, the immediate surroundings and not just, like, encompassing everything around me. But it was the Galafu Pebble Road, which I think we had before, maybe in a slightly different location. So if you find yourself in flat terrain on a pebbled road such as this, you're in Galafu, not the city center, though. Okay, this might be the best round we've had so far, so we're definitely progressing, and we'll keep learning. Okay, this one, I think we had this exact location before. And how do we know what is the meta here in Gelfu? Because obviously we just had the, what's it called? We had the Pebble Road in the very last round, around the city center. So I think it's just going to be flat terrain, probably. If I had to guess the meta it'll show, but maybe it'll show a different one. But I'm just going to guess in the middle of this city center. Okay, cool. So it was like the flat area meta, and because we had this exact location, I was able to get a relatively decent score there. Okay, 9K, not bad. Definitely our best score so far. Let's keep learning. Okay, we are in a new location. I don't think we've had this before. It seems like a mountainous village. We have a lot of farmland, of course. We have the mountains, and we have like, fog, clouds, like kind of going through them. I think these are just clouds. I don't know why I said fog, but like, I think the mountains are like elevated enough that they're close to the clouds, which is kind of crazy to think about, that you can just like go up the mountain and like, reach the clouds. But I'm getting sidetracked here, so maybe I should focus up. So we have this like flag with multicolors here. We have these like sprawling farmlands, which I think, if I had to guess, would be the meta. It doesn't feel like near the capital. Maybe I want to guess an eastern Bhutan, and then we'll see where we are. Okay, no, this is the Pabjika Valley. So the Pabjika Valley is a wide, relatively flat agricultural valley. It's the largest open valley without a river on street view. Okay. So kind of here, kind of like a little bit to the east of Thimphu, and then northwest of like where the word Bhutan is when you zoom in on the map. Okay. Okay, this is interesting because this is like a completely different like landscape, it feels like, than the previous round we just had with like all like the farms and stuff. Is this ever like relatively like flat like Elefu, like in the outer lands? I mean, it could be. I think the term like relatively flat here is very like hard to interpret for me, because like obviously we have like mountains all around us because we're in Bhutan, but yeah, I'm gonna guess here because I think that's the best info I have. Okay, no, we were very far. We were actually in the same valley that we were in the previous round, so there's the Pabjika Valley, wide, relatively flat agricultural valley without a river and street view. Okay. Okay, very foggy. So therefore, I'm thinking in the south, and normally it's been like one of these two. Is this ever the road to Thimphu? I don't know, because I don't know what that looks like. So I'm gonna guess it's either like this major road, or this major road, or this major road. It seems like it's been so far when there's been a lot of fog. I'm gonna go here in the middle of this major road, and we'll see if this is actually the road to Thimphu. Okay, not bad. So this was another car meta that we haven't learned yet. So between Gelefu and Samkara, you'll find this white thing on the left side of the car. And let's see what it is. Okay, so maybe it's like a little like sticker or like thing sticking out of the back of the car. A little white thing on the left side of the car, a little bit north of Gelefu. Okay. Oh gosh, this is like, this almost feels like very scary. Like I feel like I'd be very scared to like drive on this like mountain path with this much like fog. Like I can't see a thing. Okay, so a ton of fog makes me think the southern part of Bhutan for sure. Is this ever the road to Thimphu? I don't know, but I'm gonna guess here. Okay, no, we were a lot more eastern, so lots of fog. You're not on the road to Thimphu, likely not too far south of Galashigan. Okay. I mean, I definitely remembered this meta, but I haven't gotten the meta yet that tells me if I'm on the road to Timfu or like been able to recognize it myself. So maybe I can lean towards guessing here if I see a lot of fog and I don't, before I know what the road to Timfu looks like. Okay. A lot of fog. So hopefully not too far south of here. Okay, so I think this actually was the road to Nimfu, which I'm like kind of flip-flop these two rounds. Like last round I guessed here, and then it ended up being, you know, a little bit south of Geoguessr, but okay. Kind of just flip-flop, but that's okay because we're learning. So the most notable place you can find fog is around Gedu. Okay. So we'll just have to learn to distinguish between the kind of like two areas where there's a lot of fog here. Okay. This is a location we've gotten before. This is in the Gedu? No, it was Geoguessr. This is downtown Geoguessr, right? Because it's like pebbly road, relatively flat. I'm gonna go here in downtown. Okay, perp. 4.7. We'll take that. Okay, this one maybe I have not gotten before. If I have to guess, it's gonna be some sort of car meta, like maybe how much of the blur is showing, because there is a lot more car like here than I can see normally. There is trees here with like kind of palm-ish leaves. I can't really tell if the valley is like flat or not here because obviously there's a lot of trees like blocking our view. This is not a gravelly road, so I don't feel like it's in like here. Where do I think? I do see fog coming off the mountains. This one's tricky because I think it is one I've not learned yet. So I'm gonna go like a little bit north of Geoguessr because I feel like a lot of our locations have been here when they've been in cities. Okay, so this is just like a big town that we have to learn to recognize. So if you find yourself in a noticeably flat location, you might be in the south, limited to the towns of Funsaling, Sarpong, Geoguessr, and Samdrup Jangkar. Okay, so I think we recognize Geoguessr, but not this one yet. So we will have to learn that. Okay, lots of fog here. I think this is... Now I can't remember. Is this the location on the road to Timfu, or is this the location? I think it is the one south, a little bit south of Geoguessr, because we had this before. Okay, amazing. We were on the right road. Did I even guess on the road? No, but like, yeah, you know, close enough. 4.7 will take that. If you see lots of fog, you're not on the road to Timfu. You're likely not too far south of Geoguessr. Okay, I think this one is going to be one that hopefully we can remember. Because lots of dense fog, not able to see a lot. Okay. Okay, we have these mile markers here. What does it say on the mile marker? I can't really read it, but if I remember, the mile marker thing was like somewhere in this like circle of roads, kind of southwest of Timfu. It says something on it. I'm gonna go here and we'll see where it is. Okay, no. We were on the other side of the country, so maybe the waystones are all over the country, but what's on it, like the top numbers or letters on it, are what indicates the region, and they're not just like in and around Timfu. So this is the NH4 waystone. So on this road, you'll find the waystone saying NH4, and NH4 seems to be this major road kind of going up from Geoguessr to like Trongsa. Okay. Okay. This is something. What do we see in the back of the car? Nothing really. Definitely not a flat landscape. I mean, we could see like a big like valley and definitely a lot of hills. Maybe these like mossy blocks are gonna be the meta. This one is tricky because I don't think I've learned it yet. I'm gonna go near Timfu because I feel like Maybe we haven't had one near the capital yet, so let's see. Okay, so unique curb. So this unique curb with gray section separated by a bit of white is characteristic for the road leading up to Thimphu. Okay, so we had a good instinct that we were maybe like up or leading to Thimphu. So also roughly between Shimaka and Chapcha, the average length of the gray section tends to be a little bit smaller, making it look more like a square. And what is that? Okay, so these like white dash things on like the side, so the curb. Okay. Okay. All right, we got 9K there, which is not bad. I think that's one of our best scores so far. We're going to do this map one more time and see how much we can learn before the end of this video. Okay. Fairly gravelly path. Is there anything on the back of the car? I don't see the little like white sticker or the hook, so I don't think it's any of the ones I know. Do I see any of the pines we learned before? I don't think so. Huh. So if I don't recognize any of the metas, what could it be? No stripes, no waystones. I'm just gonna go near Thimphu. And then we'll see how far we are. Okay, this one is a different meta that we haven't learned yet, so that is okay. Car meta black object on the road. So it's this orange one here. On a road going up to Trashigang, you can see a gray black object poking out of the right side of the car. It's not the hook one though, right? The hook one though is somewhere over here. I think it was this one. Maybe. Okay, a small black object poking out of the other side of the car on the road leading up here. Okay. Okay. We are in some sort of valley and I don't see a river. So that could indicate something to me. What does that indicate? Gellifu is like the flatland, but there is a river there. There was some sort of, is it this valley has like no river and is relatively flat? I'm gonna go here. No. Okay. So these were Bhutan pines. In the north, you're gonna see pines. You can see a lot of them all over the mountains. Okay. I think also maybe a new one we hadn't learned yet. But this is a farming valley. I can see lots of like water and all the stuff being grown here. It's very like terraced. Like we can see lots of like levels, which I don't think we've seen so far in any of these metas. There is a little black like line / object in the blur, so this might be at the car meta, but I'm hoping it's like a farming, like agricultural meta because this is very unique compared to all the locations we've seen so far today. But do I see a river? I don't. And it could be the pines, so I feel like we're tending more towards the north than the south. I'm gonna go in this valley again, and we'll see where we are. Okay, so we were a lot more eastern, but I think this one was like a general meta. So the Bhutan pines, which we had in the previous round, just all over the mountains, but the mountains are kind of all over Bhutan, so I think this is okay for now. It definitely helps though with like getting like the northern versus southern part of Bhutan, and getting like the right regions there. And I think in a game where we're playing on like a world map, we'd get a lot more points by getting the north or south region versus just playing a Bhutan only map where getting the exact location is very, very important. Okay, so we are on a foggy road. Is this ever a road leading to Thimphu? I do not know. I'm going to go near south of Galachugaan because I think that's where most of the foggy roads have been. If we end up being on this road leading up to Thimphu, that's okay because we will learn from it. Okay, perfect. We got 4.8, and again, I didn't guess on the road, but that is okay. If you see lots of fog, you'd run into the road that's likely not too far south of Galachugaan. Okay. All right, last but not least, we've got this like really wide paved road, which is very different from most of the roads I've seen in Bhutan so far, because a lot of them have been very narrow on the mountainside, you know, like you can see like over the edge. But this is a very wide road. I'm guessing the meta here is this little like thing sticking out of the blur on the front left. I don't know if I learned this one and I forgot it, or if I haven't learned it yet. But because of how wide the road is, I'm gonna go near the capital, which I know I've been guessing a lot, but I'm like, I feel like in my head it just makes sense. Like, you want your probably like your best roads or wider roads in Bhutan to be like near the bigger cities, because that's maybe like where more like, you know, people are coming into, or you're like, you know, importing or exporting or whatever. So I'm just gonna go near here. Okay, no. We're really further southwest, near the Royal Manas National Park. So car met a small circle, which let's see if we can see it here. Okay. Between the town of Samkang and roughly the border between Serpong and Zemgang district, you can see a very small circle on the right side of the car. Oh, this little like dot here. Okay, let's see if we can find it. Oh, is it this like right above like where I have like the plus, the magnifying glass? That is a very small dot, and low-key, I'm barely noticing it that now with even like me zooming in. So that one is going to be very difficult to identify and remember, but that is okay because we learned so much today, and we're going to keep learning and hopefully get better at region guessing in Bhutan. So thank you so much for watching this video of me learning region guessing in Bhutan. If you enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to French Vanilla, and have a great day.